Yeah.
Please stand by.
Hold on, hold on.
Still on Virginia.
There we go.
Huh? Okay, yeah, it's rough.
I don't know what it's doing.
So you begin. It's a,
What happened to me?
it's recording. It's just showing her because that's her.
Mhm.
She's the master, she's the host, and it's just showing her. But
Well, you can hear her talking.
I know, I told her to turn it on.
We're not talking.
Yeah.
Just hit mute.
We're gonna get started. Morning, everybody. This is a regular meeting of Board of Navigation and Canal Commissioners, Williamson County Navigation District.
No.
Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, 9 a.m. 400 West Hidalgo, Suite 200, Raymondville, Texas. And we are live streaming. Public notice is given that the commissioners may go into an executive session at any time during the meeting to discuss matters listed on the agenda when authorized to do so by provision of section 418.183 or chapter 551 of the Texas Governmental Code. In the event the commission elects to go into executive session regarding any other agenda item, presiding officer will publicly announce the section or sections of the Texas Governmental Code authorizing the executive sessions. First item, review and consideration of previous meeting minutes. And there's two of them to approve. Moved it. Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick. Second by Commissioner Cavazos. All in-
Both of them?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment? Marcia Visser.
Here, talk again about the park, Mansfield. There's still a couple of discrepancies that need to be worked out. First among them is I have a copy of a plat. And it's showing the public park goes from 186 to Navigation Drive. And I've got another one. This is from the county's website. And it shows that now after this easement here, there are some navigation district lots that have been put in where there didn't used to be any. So I'd like some clarification on what happened there. And also, the county records don't match the navigation district records when it comes to ownership. So we're gonna need to have those match up before I can proceed any further. So currently, the county shows it's owned by the Chamber of Commerce. But the navigation district has notes that says they turned the property over to the navigation district 5 years ago. So I'd like clarification on that, and I can leave this here for you. And so I'd like, before I start raising money and applying for grants and seeing what we qualify for, I guess I need the ducks in a row here first. Before I proceed, so I can't proceed any further, but I am getting volunteers together who have professional skills that could help out. That we would need to pay people to do every little thing that we need done. So I'm putting together a planning committee. And I am going to be applying for a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. And I'd like some legal help with that. Do fundraising, marketing, graphic design, grant writing, accounting, architect, builder, surveyor, woodworker, cement contractor, sign painter, artist, landscape designer, master gardener, newsletter editor, and other. So I want the community to come around the idea of putting in, currently it's showing 2.58 acres next to the fire station is available. And I believe that's based on the county's records of that dimensions. Playground, pickleball court, walking trail, covered picnic area, soccer field, volleyball court, water park. People need water. It's, yeah, to play in. So, and if there's any other community ideas, what would be best, to serve us all, just reach out to me, Marcia Visser.
Thank you. Next item is proposed action to impose 3% processing fee for WCND lease payments when paid online utilizing credit cards.
Just to give everybody what that kind of looks like, remind everybody from the meeting before. Last year, we paid $9,000 in bank fees, almost exclusively. All of that $9,000 was fees for people paying with credit cards for the lease payments, which is wonderful. It's a fantastic improvement. We get things in a more timely manner. People are more prompt about paying their bills and so on and so forth. It's been great. But now we're losing $9,000 a year. When we first started this program 8-9 years ago, we were costing us maybe $500, $600 a year in fees. Now, the one thing I want to emphasize, particularly from the public's perspective, is this is not for everybody. It's not across the board 3% charge. It's only for things that get paid with a credit card. If somebody uses ACH, which a lot of people do, that doesn't get a fee. If you pay in person, there's not a fee. If you write a check and send it in or bring it in physically to the offices, there's no fee. This is only to buy the credit card, and that's just because when we swipe them with card, or you go online and basically swipe the card on our website, they assess us a 3% fee. So we're just moving that fee to the end user if they want to use that convenience. I know it's a pain in the butt. I just paid taxes in Cameron County. It cost me $92 in fees just to pay my taxes. So yeah, I get it. On top of the fee, you paid another $92. It wasn't a happy moment, but hey, it makes our life easier. It makes our bookkeeping much more concise if we can do that.
We did that on the PUD.
PD, yeah, I think 2 years ago now, and didn't affect at all. In fact, payments are up to like 82% of all payments for PUD now come through credit card.
I think the city and the county as well.
Yes, they do as well. Yes.
If you pay your water bill with your credit card,
That's right.
it's a good thing.
So that's the most on that. And our budgeting for the next year's stuff is based upon these next two, this item and next item. So
We need a motion.
I move that we impose a 3%.
Motion made by Commissioner Reyes, seconded by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
and
Discussion on cost analysis for debris services and proposed possible increase in annual debris fee from $50 to $75 annually.
The budget numbers we had that we worked with for the purpose of the meeting were based on a $50 fee, which is what we're currently charging. But before we assessed any other fee, we needed to do a breakdown on what it actually costs us to operate that truck every year. The truck cost is, everybody has one moved in their folder. It's basically an analysis we went over. The truck costs $185,000 basically. So for depreciation, we just figured by 5 is what it would take, about 5 years. I can tell you now that that truck won't be out of service in 5 years. It'll probably still be around 10, 12 years from now. But for depreciation purposes, we liquidated it over 5 years in case something's catastrophic happened to it, which comes down to just under $37,000 a year. Then we also broke in the fuel cost, what it's taken to drive it to Edinburgh and back for major dump. Anything that's brush gets left in town out behind the airport, but anything that's structural, anything from construction sites, things like that goes to Edinburgh. Those fees are about $3,300 a year. So the driver, the fees just to keep tires on it, and the depreciation comes to $51,000 a year. This at $50 a year, it's $36,500 a year we're collecting. If we take it to $75, that takes us to $48,500 a year in collected fees for debris, which is just a tad below what we project the operating cost would be. And if we were to go all the way to $100, it takes us 73. That'd be great to have that margin, but I don't know that that vessel or that vehicle, excuse me, needs that kind of a gap. So I would still project, as we discussed in the workshop, that $75 would be a good fee. That way we aren't losing anything if we do have to make emergency repairs or even update it sooner than wanted to. We covered most of our costs.
Yeah, I think that's,
I think we discussed that at the
Right.
workshop.
And all the budget numbers are for $75 or based on $75.
Did we purchase that truck?
Oh, man, what, 4 years ago now, Frank? 3? Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. But it's still.
it still looks like new.
It does. So like I said, it'll be around 10 years, maybe 15 years. The dump trucks we have in town have been around almost 30 years and they're still, well, one of them's still functional. So it'll be around a while.
I move we adopt $75 per year fee.
motion made by Commissioner Kendrick, seconded by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Discussion and action to approve 25-26 WCND operating budget.
Well, we've had 2 workshops on this one for first time we've ever done that. We've made a significant changes along the way. The form you guys left with last 2 weeks ago is exactly the same form as this. I just made it bigger and prettier so people could read it instead of the tiny thing I gave you before. Otherwise, it's the exact same form. The prices and all the estimates as far as revenues and or expenses have been voted on in the last meeting and today with these last 2 motions. And so unless somebody has discovered something they want to change, yes, sir.
Under salaries and wages.
Yes, sir.
Maintenance. Says maintenance,
Yes, sir.
that actually police department.
Maintenance is Frank's people. The police department are incorporated under administration.
Where is it at?
It's all the numbers in administration are included. Myself, Letty, Virginia, and the police. Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, looking at the navigation district. Portion. Including all labor 1, labor 2, operators, so forth, so
Yeah.
on. Executive assistant, office manager.
Yeah.
Come up about 382,000. That's navigation district portion.
Okay.
So we're in there at 390, 500.
But you just said that includes labor 1, labor 2. They shouldn't be included in that. They should be on the
I
284.
don't care where you put it. I mean, let's talk the whole.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if we're talking the whole thing,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
So then on the PD side, I'm looking at my calculation somewhere roughly around 275.
Okay.
Where is that?
Again, the 284 is the labor people you listed all. But myself, Virginia, Letty, and the police department are in the upper number. The two numbers combined come to 674. The two numbers you just read off come to about 600.
So we don't break out PD center,
No.
even though they have their own account.
Well, yeah,
They pay their own bills
that's correct.
with our money.
Well, that's correct. Yeah, I mean, it's just like Frank has his own accounts and everything else, and so
Yeah.
his personnel fall under a certain category.
Right.
We just never broke the police out, so. Remember, the police department started with one guy, so we just never broken it out to a separate thing.
It'd be nice to know that number though.
Sure, we can just add another column on the next time,
Yeah.
under calories, salaries and wages, we'll just break out administration into PD.
So however you want to call it. The total 675 is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
I mean, you break it out however you want to. Auto allowance,
You guys actually had moved that up, and
we moved it to 7.
and that was only was 7, and I put it at 7, but then when I did the last looks the other day, I had 10. I'll be glad to move that to 7, no problem. Because it only covers one vehicle allowance. Oh, I know what it was. The math on the vehicle allowance is 700 a month. You multiply that times 12, it's more than 7,000. That comes to like 8,500. Something of that nature, not 7,000. So if we put 7,000, we're not actually meeting the amount that's actually allocated. So that's why we put 10.
Oh, it's minute, but I thought we'd agreed airport maintenance was gonna be 0.
Did I not change that?
Yeah, it's gonna be 0.
It is, that is supposed to be. Fine, it's 5,000. Okay, yeah, I'll put it at 0.
Mr. Lane, thought we'd move that to 0 also.
Facilities. Oh. Okay.
Anywhere.
Okay.
Don't know, something, yeah. So we've got, got a. That leaves us about, I'm looking at about 335,000. That's,
It's hard to believe we got to approve a budget that shows us in the hole $335,000. Just don't understand it.
I just wondering about the guys that are putting in the seawall. Saw on the payable list before we cut one check to them.
Mhm.
Hear anything?
Oh, no, we have another check due, but we should have the paperwork corrected with finished up with the bank in the next 48 hours or so. And then we'll have that capacity to write checks off of that separate account that gets repaid by the state directly into that account. We're still tweaking the fine details. The main thing they're trying to figure out is how do they word any collateral? Because before, as you saw the document, it was like they were trying to put freehold liens on property.
Various.
All different stuff, and then we're trying to consolidate that into a completely different. I talked to Allison briefly about it yesterday, and we're trying to tweak that and get it down to the final details. But they've authorized and already approved that they're going to give us $2 million that we can write checks against. So that should-
We already submitted the first payment to
Yes.
TxDOT.
a month ago, over a month ago. So it should be soon. It'll get back. So
My anticipation on that line of credit is
Mhm.
not that we just write checks and
No.
pay bills.
Virginia and I have already made it.
Pay it out of M&O, pay it out of M&O.
Correct. Virginia and I specifically said, and we redid this before we even approached the people at the bank, and we discussed it with them, is once this is approved, they'll basically, create an account. that we will get checks on that account and we will write checks for that project only on that account, and the repayments will come from the state straight back to that account. So the money will stay inside that account completely.
But we're only paying interest on the money that we're borrowing.
That's correct. The only thing will be, we'll have to pay interest when it's all done. No,
Did they tell you what the interest rate was? gonna be?
we're still tweaking all that.
Okay,
It's probably, he says it's usually 2 points above prime,
right.
whatever that
Yeah.
is.
All right,
I move we accept the budget.
all right. Motion made by,
Sweet.
2 tweaks up, yeah. I put it on.
motion made by Commissioner Kendrick,
Second.
second by Commissioner Reyes, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Oh. At item 6, we're gonna postpone that till we have everybody here to discuss it. It was supposed to be just for discussion only.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to
It
be.
was gonna be an action item. So we're just gonna postpone that till the next meeting. Port Director's report.
Okay, since our 2 workshops, we had just multiple discussions about the airport and what it looks like, what its future looks like, how we fund it, so on and so forth. We were flagged and we're already in the final selection for review by the Port Authority Advisory Committee for TxDOT to receive $12 million this legislative cycle for the airport. I have since requested that they not consider that, primarily one, because we don't have the percentages to cover our car show, which would be a couple of $1 million. The other reason is because you need to be shovel ready by fourth quarter 2026. So it means by next fall. And I have the original as planned drawings for the airport. What we have as an airport isn't even a fraction of that. And when I mentioned that to the TxDOT team that came in here a couple of months ago, they said that we need to make sure that the funds allow for the construction of the full airport. Well, I don't think $12 million would cover that, because it includes a whole nother runway running at a different angle. You know, not just an extension, but also a second runway. It goes into the 400 acres that we want to use for other things. And so I just said, you know what, just take us off the list for the 12 million. The next item was the 10% cost for the fence. I had a meeting with them last Monday or Tuesday. I advised them that we are going to be asking the county judge if they want to get involved with helping with that, since it is the only paid government airport in the county. Haven't had a chance to talk to Keeter about it yet, but I said if Keeter comes through and they were willing to help us with the $80,000, which would be our cost share, that we would get back with them. But as of today, they should kind of set it aside for the next month or two until we get an answer. So that $80,000 for that runway, for the fence, has been set aside by the state and for us.
How long do we have to?
They didn't give me a timeline. I would imagine with TxDOT just now briefing everybody on all the projects, I imagine we have 30 to 60 days.
I'd like to be there when you speak to the judge
Oh, absolutely, sure.
and Commissioner Tijerina.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll make sure the judge gets him to come on.
Let's set up a
Yeah.
meeting with him.
Okay. Sounds
What do
good.
you think?
That
Yeah,
and the,
absolutely.
that and the insurance for the employees as well. We'll talk about it at the same time.
Yeah.
So, last thing I want to use, the live streaming project, as you can see, is up and running. It's still has minor glitches. It's just user error. Some of it's just, we just hadn't figured out how to use it all yet. So, ultimately I should be able to sit here with my laptop and put images on the screen for people to see and all that. We just haven't figured out all that stuff.
I'd like to know if anybody's actually watching it right now.
I can find out if Danny can tell me who's online. Last time there was 5.
Seemed like there would be an easier way to get to it than having to go through all the .com/newsroom/live stream. Ought to be just a code or access code or something.
Yeah, there's 4 people actively watching it live right now. Once we finish and terminated, it gets sent to a permanent file, and then people can go in, and then people start going in and looking at it. So
Is there a way to access it easier than having to go through all this?
just go to our website. That's our website.
Yeah,
And when you go to the website, you go to the top of the page where it says newsroom, click the newsroom, and it's right there.
okay. So you don't have to type all that in?
Oh, no.
Okay,
It's the easiest way probably as far as getting there directly, but just go to our website, go to newsroom. When you click on newsroom, it'll drop down and the drop down for that is there.
Okay.
And there should be already 2 previous sessions already posted. That's all that.
Well, anybody got any questions for Ron? All right, next item, review and discussion on building authorization issued for the month of May 2025.
Carport in a driveway.
Mhm.
I said, how's a carport in the driveway so hidden?
All right, next item, review and consideration of residential commercial transfers of leases, boat stall lease, transfers, and collateral transfer lease. Same thing we just went through. We'll need a motion.
You reviewed all of this, right? I make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cavazos,
Second.
second by Commissioner Reyes, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. Review and consideration of checks and vouchers, and any discussion and comments on monthly budget report.
Bobby sold his
Yes, he did. And if you drive by there, they've made significant progress on cleaning it up. And their intention is to take out the mobile home that's there now. I gave them 90 days to get it out. And then sometime in the future, they'll put a new one in there, but for now, it'll be a vacant lot.
Oh, all their neighbors are proud.
You go, they send us pictures now, like almost every day. It's significantly improved. Significantly.
Yeah.
See here, 2 payments to Border Affairs. Here in the audience, I thought they were required to give a monthly update.
They said that they would make that part of the process, but that wasn't written in their agreement, but they said they would be here.
That's what he told us
Yeah.
in public, that they would give us a monthly update.
I will note that, so.
They've been 60 days into it, right?
Roughly.
And he was here last
Yeah.
30 days.
Last time he was here, that's when he got his first check, and that other check is just from today.
Yeah, right, I understand the money side of it, but know what we can say we've gotten.
Agree.
Well, if we can wait one more cycle, but
It's just another
show next,
$6,000.
yeah, I mean, $18,000 into it, I'd say if he doesn't show next month,
We'll have to do something, yeah.
what's Evron LLC, huh?
Is the new name for the fire company. It's a company that took over the fire, the maintenance, fire hydrants and things of that nature. They also bought, was it like 10 hose racks and hoses?
They put all new hose racks on the.
All the docks have new hose racks. That's what the cost is.
We have somebody providing that service prior to that.
Somebody else bought them out. Everyone bought somebody else out. There was another company doing it before us. I can't remember the name of it.
They didn't do a very good job.
No, because
They didn't do the hoses very good. They did a
20-something
really
years.
great job on doing the hydrants and all that, but they never went out of their way to do hoses and
Well,
boxes.
since we're talking about hydrants, who does the maintenance on the hydrants?
No idea. We install them. We don't maintain
That's on the
it.
fire hydrant, right? Who does the maintenance on fire hydrant? PUD does.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't, aware. So, I knew we put them in, but,
I know they've been putting some new ones in, so that's a good thing.
and they're about to have 4 more because the ones that are on Navigation Drive were not ever supposed to be installed as part of
Yeah.
the project. So we're gonna pull them and then give them to Frank to install elsewhere in town.
Good.
Cause that's a gravity fed line and they can't draw pressure on it. So those hydrants are waste being where they're at. So.
Or Freeman and stuff wound up at $29,000.
24.5, I think it was, yeah, something like that.
29. I think.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Annually.
No. That was a
Oh,
one-time
I
fee.
thought you said annually.
No. That was one time.
But I added it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a done
The
deal.
only thing left now is a normal MPC monthly charge plus an addition for cloud storage.
That's correct. And we're still working out how we're gonna do that. But yes, that is the plan. The one other thing that would go to that one, it will probably be some kind of a modification, is that, everybody here, potentially, all of us in the office use a Rackspace account. That's who we get through MPC Studios. Rackspace is, basically defunct. It's still there, but it's not very user friendly. And so they're gonna drop it. MPC is gonna drop it at the end of the year. So I've asked them to work with me to come up with a .gov email account for every single employee and board member. Really important to the police department, because when they communicate with agencies, if they don't have a .gov, and so ours ends with .com, they just kind of look at it like, really? You're saying you're a cop and you're from this town, but you're using a .com address. So there will be a modification sometime over the next months, but nothing short term.
Did we ever get it to where we could retain records on the setup that we have in
We're,
here?
we're working on that. We're actually, our IT guys putting together a package for us to be done.
Okay.
Server basis.
Server based, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. I haven't had time to really study this MPC proposal, but looks like we could get a whole lot of what we're paying border repairs for a fraction of the cost. But, we'll see next month.
Yes, sir.
It goes up.
Mark Trippin, is that?
He's the one that's cleaning that alley out, yes.
Yeah, done
He did a
a
good.
really good job on
Already
it
done.
too.
Yeah.
I drove my golf cart down it. I mean, that's how smooth it is. So it looks a lot better back there.
Oh, we're doing this because AEP.
Well, AP said they had to give him access to the line, which is legitimate. That was a correct response. But the whole idea that we had to crown it and put collegiate, that's not true at all. And so we did what we were required to do. I've talked to AEP twice. Mr. Kendrick has talked to them several times, and we've met and exceeded their requests for service.
Yeah, it was something that needed to be done. Well, plus there was some trees that were still in the middle of the right of
Big
way that needed to be removed.
Big tree.
Big trees. So that's all been done. It looks a lot better.
Is there a potential for a road or an alleyway or whatever you wanna call it? Down the center of those lots now? I mean, it looks like
You talking about on the other side?
going down to where they put all the poles. You know, you got.
There is an easement in the back.
There isn't even.
In the very back by the brush.
That's right.
No,
No, it's
just
actually.
before you get there, if you go down there, you'll see where the water meters are.
Yeah.
That's
That's where the
alleyway right there.
There should be one there.
It's just kind of out in the open.
So what we're mowing is actually part of phase
Of it's an
one,
alley.
part of phase two.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I was gonna say, what?
Yeah, but if you take the road where it now is, that they already did, and you just continue it straight all the way over to Matagorda, that's where the other alleyway could be. Yeah.
And they didn't need to do anything there.
Yeah.
So,
It looked like if there was potential for a road back there. You know, anybody with a large boat gonna have trouble.
It is, because it's only a 20-foot yard service.
yeah, it's only.
It's an alley.
And aerial line.
Yeah,
But again, it wasn't built to be a street,
Uh-huh.
you know, so,
But I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
that's in the back of their lots, you know,
Oh, if they wanted to use it for an access?
yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do that,
unless they built a huge gate that they could come out at an
Yeah.
angle.
or no gate,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So,
Program fishing tournament, you donated $2,500.
every year, we always get some mess. Young farmers get $500 every year. Fish, Port Mansfield tournament gets $2,500 every year, automatic.
Young farmers had a pretty good turnout for their tournament this year too. I went over and watched the weigh-in. Good people fishing. What's Inland Rivers?
It's just a membership,
Okay.
Ports Association kind of thing. I'm glad you started that habit. I'm glad you started that habit. This table in the last 11 years has never done that.
Yeah,
Even though it's been there every month, nobody's done it.
I know it.
So that's good if you started. So the auditors get us every year.
Well, we did it on PUD.
I know. So.
Any other questions? Need a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick. Second by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We're adjourned. Push the red button.
Yeah, just everybody.
Leave. Is that what it said?
Meeting from?
I don't know.
I'm not catching.
Yeah, might blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want anything